Hey Facebook friends, Marianne here. I just wanted to share with you this incredible, beautiful stone that Stefano helped pull together. And I know many of you guys have been following and watching as I've shown what we've been doing in the garden area, but this is not something I could have ever imagined. So thank you, Stephen. It is so beautiful. The energy around this stone, I mean, wow. I hope that I'll try and walk slowly, but you guys can experience it. See how it's just so beautiful. The form of this. Traditionally, scholar stones are something that the Japanese would use in order to just think about. They think about the flow of the energy. They think about the way light and shadow moved in it, and it is just incredible. I am absolutely in awe of this. So obviously we are playing around with the ideas of what we're going to do, and we may end up just keeping it simple. You can see what the gardener's already created because people are coming out here to enjoy the stone, which we're so happy to do. And I am just really taking in just the beauty of it. Probably Chris is going to be building a thing around it. It's going to be wood, because traditionally the scholar stones have a base that's filled in with sand. So we want to do the traditional thing, just make it bigger. So I'm really excited about that. So just wanted to share with you guys just the beauty of this and just how it's all coming together and the beauty of this gorgeous, gorgeous day. There is so much that is going on right now in everybody's life, definitely not just mine. And those of you that have seen other videos know, and this is a perfect metaphor for I think where everybody has been going on in their lives right now. We originally had beautiful Magay, and the freeze destroyed it. We originally had a huge tree, and the freeze pulled it down, and it's painful and it's sad. But when Spirit took all that, we've now planted these new plants, these beautiful mountain laurels that will be purple eventually. And Chris is going to be turning these tree into some long, beautiful benches, and we're going to have some tables and other things made with these different pieces. And as you can see over here, thankfully there's still a gathering place. And I think that's what I really wanted to leave you guys with today, is the idea that when things are destroyed and things aren't going the way you planned, that we can all make a choice on how we're going to adjust to it. And this last number of months has been extremely painful, physically and emotionally. But what it's done is it's forced me to make very necessary changes in my life. Things that I didn't really think that I was going to get to in a few years, but I knew eventually needed to be done. And this year, it's forced so many of us to be quarantined, loved ones to be separated from us. But that's actually created renewed appreciation for when you have that opportunity to really get to be with somebody, and when you really get to spend time with them, to be fully present. I have a lot of friends that have asked me over the years about, spending money and time out to take so many people out to dinner or lunch or something. And I try to explain to people, it's about trying to be with people, with presence, and really cherishing that. I will say that there's been nothing that I have appreciated more this year than being able to actually think about all the times I spent with loved ones and just cherishing that time now more than ever. And now that we're all being able to get vaccinated and we'll be able to gather with loved ones again soon, it makes it possible for us to have greater appreciation. And anyway, if you look down here at the garden, a lot of the plants didn't make it. Others had to be replanted. But, that's kind of the way life works. You have plans, and some of it gets destroyed. Some of it works. Sometimes what you think, what you would love, happens. And sometimes what you think, what you love doesn't. And you plant seeds, some come up, some don't. As you can see behind me, this beautiful mosaic, and I've shared it with some of you guys before, the tree of life. And that's what we're all part of. We like to think we're the tree. In reality, we're each a leaf. Each one of our lives has a finite amount of time. But if we remember that we're connected and we reflect the whole, and that we're not the whole, but we're a part of the whole, that humbling realization helps us deal with these kinds of challenges. And I know many of you have been feeling it too, robbing Peter to pay Paul, wondering how you're going to make ends meet and take care of those who depend on you, wondering what's going to become of your dreams, wondering what's the right choice to make. And what I can tell you is that Creator, Spirit, God, Goddess, whatever you want to call that incredible force in this world, it does not abandon us. And while these lessons can be so difficult, what a breathtaking, beautiful reality can be revealed in it. So, my love grows here. You can see the wisteria is starting to bloom. So those of you that have been outside, from outside Texas, and are asking me all the time, what is that purple tree that you're seeing? Well, this is a wisteria, and those of you that are from Texas certainly know how beautiful these blooms are. So anyway, just sharing with you guys what's happening. So yes, just want to take a moment to share how there's been destruction, there's been loss, but in some ways it makes for new things. It makes things possible that you thought were going to be impossible to reach a long time ago, and suddenly it makes them a reality. It changes the way that reality is. And there's no big, isn't that gorgeous? Originally when I began this, I was proud of it, but it wasn't nearly as special as it's becoming. And the biggest challenge, the biggest difference, is that I invited other people in to help be part of the vision. And that means some of the things you create have to be redone, changed. But when you invite other people into the vision and they start putting their work into it, it allows you to go over that hump and to really start making those differences. So I'm super excited with the way, despite all the frustrations that have been going on, I'm super excited about how life is moving, because there's opportunity around the corner. I know many of you have been struggling with far less security than I have. And I wish that I could help more of you out in these times. I know that there are those of you out there that have different opinions about politics, about spirituality, about life, but the one thing that I know that can unify us all is the fact that we can recognize that we're an integral part of the whole, and that if we lose something, sometimes that's necessary to allow for new growth. And I'm witnessing that here in the garden. I'm witnessing that in life. And there's a sense of excitement, a sense of expectation. God sometimes doesn't, oftentimes actually, doesn't give us what we want. God gives us what we need to grow. And we're not going to move from where we are unless sometimes He introduces a great deal of discomfort, because that forces us to change. And that's what I've been experiencing. And that's what I want to pass on to all of you listening today, because, again, it's been a long time since I did one of these longer talks, but it's something I think all of us are dealing with in our own world. The whole world is dealing with it right now. Right now, my mom's in the hospital, and I think she's going to be fine, but it's not fun. It was not fun holding her hand when the tube had to go down her throat and down her nose and to her throat and to her intestine. But it's making her safe and making her healthier to get everything out that needed to be done. And it wasn't fun when she has Alzheimer's to be the one to hold her hand down when she wanted to yank the tube out. And that's sometimes what happens when you love someone and you can't do what they want, because what you need to do is what they need. And I think that's what God is doing with all of us right now. We're kind of being stuffed with stuff that we don't want and have stuff taken away that we do want. But that's changing us and it's positioning us. And most recently, I've had a number of things that have changed with friends. A number of things have changed with particular ambitions. And all I can say is that Spirit is actually honing everything forcing me and everybody I know in their own walks and paths of life to end up becoming more cognizant of saying, Spirit, not my will, but your will. So I'll leave you with the prayer today, just saying, Creator, thank you for everything. Thank you for the challenges as much as thank you for the blessings, because I know that you are giving me strength. Thank you for helping things happen fast that need to happen fast to help us survive. But thank you also for forcing me to learn patience, as I know that that is an important strength as well. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to move through the pain and the frustration, because that has given me strength and increased my ability to have compassion and empathy for others as well. There's so many lessons to be learned in the tougher times. And yet, you know, I know when I've been having my seizures and have not been able to move and everything, God introduced me to Dr. Langstrom, and she ended up helping me out. These are the things that happen. You know, God will put us in a hard position, but then he opens a few doors and says, try this. So that's what I want to dare you guys to do. What is it that you maybe have on hold and that you've said, one day I'll do it. One day I'll try that. Well, what if this pandemic isn't about taking away opportunity and taking away plans, but saying, you are not dreaming big enough? What if this pandemic is saying, that thing you've had on hold forever, I want you to do it now. That thing you have on hold forever, who knows if you're going to be alive next year? Who knows if you're going to be healthy? I mean, it's been hard over the last, week or so. I've opened up Facebook and I've discovered 3 friends who died that I hadn't been aware of. And that happened within 1 week. And, poor Josh was listening. I went, oh, damn it, and started crying last night. And that's as that happens. And I know a lot of people have been going through that during this time. So what can we do? What can each one of us do to recognize our role in that and say, okay, God, where do you want me to step next? What goal do you want me to have? And when we do that, it is amazing what comes to the table, the people that enter our lives, the opportunities that reveal themselves, because maybe they've always been there, but we were too hesitant to take it. That's what's happening to me. And it hasn't been fun, it hasn't been easy. But I'm very excited now about what lies around the corner because of what I've been forced to do. And it's actually turning out to empower things even more. So that's what I want to leave you with. Just this incredible story that we all share of going through this pandemic, losing loved ones, struggling financially, struggling with health, struggling with stress, struggling with quarantine, being lonely, feeling like we can't be there for those that need us who are lonely as well. How can we possibly do and be and give what they need to do and be and receive when we have our hands tied? And perhaps that's what God's asking us to do right now, saying, trust in me, use me. And I have been using that trust. And sometimes it's very hard to not, when you don't hear what you want. But when you hear what God wants, Spirit wants, what Creator wants, the miracles that come out of that are incredible. So I hope this gives you all a message of hope. Like many of you, I've had my times of just being on my knees crying, going, oh my God, what do you want next? Frustrations. But what's coming around the corner, I think is going to be amazing for many of us. But here's the test. And I said it before and I'll say it again. I told you guys the story of the man with the spoons that went down into hell and saw all these starving people with a huge feast, and they couldn't, have it because they could only eat with these spoons. But the spoons were so long they couldn't get it in their mouths, so they're starving and looking at this food. And he goes to heaven and he's appalled because it's the same situation. But there, no one's starving, and he realizes why. It's because they're feeding each other with their spoons. I think that is at the heart what this lesson has been for the world. I think that the world is being pushed through an initiation of consciousness, and it's not a hokey way, new agey thing, and it's not something for those of you that are very much Christian or Muslim or Jewish that are going, that's not my doctrine. I'm not talking about anything that takes you away from your religion. What I'm saying is that we're being asked to say we are part of a system. For us to make it through this pandemic, for us to make it through this world and come out the other end in the best way possible for ourselves as individuals, we have to worry about what it means to come out the best way possible for the world. And that is where we're coming to. You know, God tried to give us the environmental crisis to wake us up, and that didn't work. But this pandemic is working. And I've been amazed at the people that are coming to that same conclusion because of what they've been going through. So I invite you all to think about it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. But I hope I've articulated what many of us have been going through. And I hope that by doing so, it's helped each one of you to know that you're not alone in this process. Your loved Creator and Spirit is with you always because you are part of it. And that is probably the biggest thing, the whole namaste concept. You know, take care of your neighbor, not just because they're your neighbor, but take care of your neighbor because they are you. I know that sounds crazy, but when we realize that we each have a piece of the soul, the world, the soul, that spirit that moves us in creation, then we're responsible for the whole. And that is all of creation. And what an incredible opportunity this time is. And what an incredible opportunity all these stresses and frustrations and overwhelming losses and pain is, in the sense, not to belittle the pain, because it's not that, but it's honoring those that we've lost, and it's honoring this walk that so many of us have had to do of feeling alone, feeling depressed, feeling financially strapped, feeling like dreams are on hold. By realizing that the biggest dream is that we are the dream only if we're in it together. So those are my thoughts today. Love to you all. I'm Matilda. Blessed be.